From architecture to painting and sculpture, literature to live music and theater, Radio 111 presents The Desert Scene, your connection to culture and entertainment in the desert cities. Here's Bonnie G.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. I'm your host, Bonnie G, here with my fabulous producer, Brian Mendoza. And we're very happy to welcome to the show Aviva Pressman, who is part of the cast of this show coming up at Dezart. One of the longest titles I think I've seen of a show. A funny thing happened on the way to the Gynecologic Oncology Unit at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center of New York City. Hi, Aviva. Did I get that right?
Yes, I think it's in New York City, but honestly, I'm focusing on learning my lines, not on learning the name of the show. So I'm not even sure.
Okay, all right. I think we got it close enough. Well, welcome to the show. So, tell us a little bit about the story, if you would.
Sure. It's a great script. It's about it takes place all in a hospital room. And there's two older women who are laying in bed recovering, two older women who have cancer. Mm-hmm. And then I play one of their daughters. And then there's a guy who plays one of their sons. And it's all about the relationship between us as we kind of go through this journey. It's sort of an odd couple situation. We're very different. So it's really funny and also really kind of sad and heartwarming.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if you're talking about cancer, there obviously got to be some serious part to it, but there's a lot of humor too, correct?
Yeah. I think it's that kind of thing where people feel really anxious and need to laugh when there's grief, and
right.
These are two characters who really do that.
Okay. All right. Super. So I'm looking at your credits. So you're based in L.A., actor, singer, clown, comedian, visual artist, and medical educator. So clown, tell me about the clown part. Have you been doing that a while?
I have, yeah. I mean, I've done both like shows where I am doing the art of clowning, and then also like it's a day job. I work as a birthday clown.
Okay, super. And medical educator. Now, is that in conjunction with your acting, or is that sort of a whole separate thing?
It's sort of started as in conjunction, and now it's kind of both. A lot of medical schools and healthcare institutions will hire actors to play the role of patient, and then give feedback on communication skills, how they do the physicals. But now I've been doing it long enough that I also teach students how to do physical exams and things like that. Wow,
good for you. So you're a busy woman. One of the things I always love, I do this in my life, is having juggling multiple balls in the air at the same time. It's having sort of multiple streams of income and multiple creative outlets. So tell us a little bit about your how you started. Did you just begin acting very young? Was your family supportive of you pursuing this?
So my parents met in a Broadway show. They were in the Broadway cast of Gigi, which is not a good show, but they were in it. And my dad was a singer. My mom was a dancer. And I sort of started as a singer. I did not like dance. And then I went, well, if I'm going to do musical theater, I better learn to act. And I went to college for musical theater and then fell in love with acting. And now I kind of do both. So my parents were mostly supportive, except that I didn't want to dance, so my mom was not very supportive of that.
Yeah. And so, did you grow up in LA, or did you grow up in New York?
I grew up in LA.
Okay. Yeah. And so tell me, I'm looking at some of your the other shows here. Astro Boy and the God of Comics. That's interesting. Cinderella, the composer is dead. Rudolph the musical. So you've had a pretty eclectic, resume here as far as just performances. Yes, I usually tell people that I play some leading lady and character actor roles, but if you have a role that's like non-human or was written for a man, but then they decided they needed more women, like those are the roles I will definitely book. I book all the weird stuff. Okay. And as far as music and that kind of, so do you write as well? And of all these other talents, do you write music or write plays, or is that another creative talent of yours? I don't write music.
I wrote a one-person show that did very well called Deadlift, but that's pretty much it. And I write some comedy. I do some storytelling shows, but I don't really consider myself a playwright now.
Okay, and voiceover. It looks like you do some voiceover work as well.
I do, yeah. Anime, and I don't know, hearing the sound of my voice right now, like they will cast me as 12-year-olds, but I'm actually 36.
But that's a
lot of kids.
That can be a good thing. Gives you a longevity in the business, at least,
It's true. Yeah, and I do a lot of like robot voices, things like that.
And so, is this your first play here in the desert, in the Palm Springs area?
It's not. I actually, just before the pandemic hit, I did a production of Ballroom with Coachella Valley Rep. Yeah, and I was actually in that show with Randy Brenner, who is directing this show.
Excellent. Okay, super. And tell us a little bit about your process as an actor when you get a new role.
Oh, it really depends on the role. I usually kind of start out trying to go with instincts and then see where my instincts fail me. So if I'm going with my instincts and everything's falling into place, great. But there's always something that doesn't. And then once I find those things, then I can do more work. I can, write some things down, figure out what my internal process would be, or I can do some physical work, just kind of trying to fill in those gaps where just like my initial intuition hasn't quite brought me where I need to be.
And what I always love to ask actresses, I'm an actress as well, what's on your bucket list? I mean, you've got a very long resume here. Is there a part, a show, a project that you've kind of had percolating in the back of your mind that you'd still love to do at some point?
Oh, there's so many. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would like to be on Broadway at some point, which is hard when I'm based in LA, but that is a goal. There's so many roles that I want to do. I would love to play more roles that are Jewish, because I'm Jewish, and I've played Mrs. Claus and I've played a nun, and it'd be nice to play some things that are kind of within my culture.
Okay.
And I love, I'm a soprano. I love doing things where I can sing high and show that off. I can't say that there's one specific role that I'm like really gunning for at the moment. There's all kinds of things that I want to do. And
what about directing? Is a lot of actors say, well, what I'd really like to do is direct. Is that on your bucket list at all?
I've done it and I enjoy it. And maybe one day when I feel like I've done everything that I need to do acting-wise, it's something that I'll go to. But right now, it's not quite the dream for me. I enjoy it. It's a fun time. It's just, if I have to choose between doing a role that I really love and directing, I'll choose playing the role every time.
Sure. And tell us about, as an actor, do you prefer having a director that's very sort of hands-on, or do you like a director that sort of lets the actors kind of go and do their thing, and then if they need to be pulled back or whatever they can do, or somebody that's very, very sort of detailed and hands-on?
I mean, ideally it would be somewhere in between. I like somebody who really gives guidance, but who also gives room to play. Like, I find it a little frustrating when you get up the first time to do something and you get a ton of notes because you're like, well, I'm just still playing. I'm figuring it out. But I also find it frustrating when you don't get any notes until the artistic director comes in and is like, hey, I actually want to change everything.
Yes. That can be frustrating. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. I like to have somebody who's solidly in the middle, I would say.
So, again, I'm going to see if I can get this right. A funny thing happened on the way to the Gynecologic Oncology Unit at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City. Opens March 3rd. You can get tickets at DezartPerforms.com. And Aviva, is that a family name? That's such a pretty name.
It's kind of like Tel Aviv. It means springtime.
Well, isn't that nice? That's nice to have a name that means springtime. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a really interesting show, very interesting show. It sounds like a great cast. And welcome back to the desert. And I'll break a leg. Wish you the best of luck. And thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. No problem.
A wonderful day. All right, Miss Aviva Pressman. Check her out at Dezart Performs. And we will see the rest of you the next time on The Desert Scene.